The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks. Doak Propane, Labor's Local 663, the Bank of Billings, Shelter Insurance Agents Grant Baker in Aurora, and Sean Holman in Lockwood. Great Southern Bank, Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, and as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Going back up to El Dorado Springs High School, and Bulldogs head coach Beau Swopes on the occasion of a district tournament. The state tournament getting ready to start. The district champion with a 69-21 victory over Stockton. Coach, you've won 10 in a row now by an average of more than 30 points, and that includes the first two of those were Stratford and Skyline, which was combined win by 5. So kind of take us through these last 10.
Last time we talked, it was right before we played, I think Miller, and we were going to go on a string of Miller, Skyline, Stratford, and we struggled against Miller. They did a really good job against us, and we just couldn't make shots. And then to go and take on a Skyline and a Stratford team, two of the better teams in Class 3, and go and get wins. Skyline at home, and girls played really well. Defensively, we did our job, and then Stratford was kind of a weird one because they had girls out, and we had some girls out with some sickness, and it was just about the only time we could get that in. So the girls made the road trip down there and really battled, and it was a great game. Came down to a shot at the end, and luckily for us, the girl didn't make it. I mean, it did everything but go in. After that, we had a lot of conference games left to play. At times our conference isn't extremely strong on the girls' side, but it was able to keep us playing. We were able to get some girls healthy and get over some sickness and stuff like that, and then finished up the regular season with a pretty good Nevada team, and they just come off winning the Big 8 conference and the overall conference championship, and the girls came out and played really well. Our defense, I feel like, has been our key. I've had I think this year 13 here at El Dorado, and I've had some good defensive teams, but I don't know if I've had any that have completely bought into what it means to be a great defensive team. And the girls kind of take some pride in trying to shut teams down and holding them well below what they normally score. So it's definitely helped over the last, and hope it continues on.
Well, and you hold the Big 8 champion Nevada team to 34 points, and in that contest, and you got to feel good going into that district, and you give up 40 points combined in the two games in districts, 19 and 21. Kind of take us through that district.
Going into it, we kind of knew that we were going to end up being like the one. We had a pretty good opportunity to be the 1 seed. A lot of teams fighting for that 2 through 5. And they were all pretty similar, and we had seen a couple of them. But, last year we were Class 4. We kind of set up our schedule to be more of a Class 4 team, and then we got dropped down just because of enrollment this year. So it was a little different. We didn't have a lot of common opponents. We had played, of course, we played Butler because they're in our conference, and we had played Stockton, and that was it for us, or in Sherwood because they're a conference. But we hadn't seen Holden. We hadn't seen Adrian, which we normally do play. But they're all so much alike. And the difference was it was hard to figure out who was going to win. Like 2 through 6, it was you had to be there for the game. You had to scout because there weren't any blowouts other in those early games. And so we came out and played well against Adrian. Defensively did our job, and shots started falling. They tried to come out and run some zone defense against us, and the first quarter was a little bit of struggle. We hadn't played in over a week, and so just game type shooting was kind of difficult. But in the second quarter, the floodgates opened. Girls started hitting shots, and things started really flowing for us offensively. In the championship game against Stockton, Cedar County rival, it's always a big game. We came out and played really well defensively again and just really kind of shut them off. And they do a good job defensively, but girls hit shots and everything started going well. We got out in transition, got some easy baskets to get going. And then some of our girls who have been struggling a little bit shooting, they really started to catch fire in over districts. So that's always a good problem to have.
Now you've got Lone Jack. Lone Jack comes in at 17-8. We had Coach Shaw on earlier this week. They end up with a Barstow in the championship game. Barstow was a 5 seed and comes through that district and makes to the championship game. They get them, and Lone Jack is a young team. But what do you know about the Lady Mules?
You know, we don't see, like, we've seen Sherwood, of course, and that's a common opponent of ours. Other than that, it's been a lot of film work over the last few days. I think I've watched 4 or 5. My assistants watched a few, and a couple of the parents have even watched some. So everybody's chipping in to help and give their opinion on what to do. You know, they're young. They've got some athletic pieces. Obviously, they've had a good season. If you've made yourself into the state playoffs, you've had a good season. And you know, there's some different changes that we're going to have to make. We've seen them run a little bit of a 1-3-1. We run that ourselves. We just haven't seen it this year against an opponent. So that could be a little bit of a change for us, just to try to have to adjust to be able to playing against that. You know, I feel like with our defense, if we come to play and we're allowed to play the way we're capable of, you know, things should be in our favor. But, you know, nothing's certain at this point. You've got to come out and play your game every single night.
As you look at Lone Jack, is there a team on your schedule that they remind you of?
You know, in watching them play Sherwood, and that was a few weeks ago, like, they're fairly similar. I feel like they do a better job of rebounding and getting to the offensive glass. So that's definitely been a point of emphasis in our practices going into this, is really making sure that we, you know, finish possessions defensively. They've got some young pieces, and it kind of reminds me of us whenever we were sophomores and freshmen instead of juniors and seniors. And just, there's going to be those nights where you play really well and everything clicks, and then there's those nights that you're going to have that you realize you're freshmen and sophomores and you make some mistakes. But they do a really good job. I feel like their defensive intensity has picked up as I watch games closer to the end of the season. I feel like their defensive intensity has really gotten up there, and they've kind of started to focus on that, and that's going to be a game changer right there for them, as far as going out there and putting pressure. And we're going to have to be able to handle that, you know, hopefully with some upperclassmen who have been on this stage before, that, you know, that doesn't have that big of an effect. But you know, I think we're ready. You know, I'd like to play it right now. Like, I'm one of those people that I can't wait around too long. Last week was, with the weather and pushing everything back, was a struggle for me. So, you know, just kind of lay it out there and leave everything on the court, see what we get accomplished.
Now, this is tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, and where's the game going to be played?
I think Lee Summit North.
Lee Summit North.
So
you guys, Bulldogs travel pretty well?
We travel pretty well. District championship, of course, was just at Butler, which is only a 45-minute drive. Most of the fans passed us on the way up there. So, like, when we got to the gym an hour early, we probably had 40 or 50 people already sitting in the gym, like sitting in the bleachers ready to go. So we do, our fans travel well with us, especially when we're playing well. And we've got a lot of support from our parents. You know, we've got a pep bus getting ready to go. So we should bring a lot. I don't know if we'll have as much as they'll have, you know, for them. And I think it's a 18-mile drive for them.
Yeah.
I mean, they could walk there before we could drive there. So hopefully we bring enough to kind of keep them in check, and we'll have all the support. The nice thing about it for us is our boys are going to follow up right after us. So, you know, our fans will get a stick around for 2 games, and hopefully we come up there and get 2 wins.
Who do your boys have?
Our boys have Lafayette County or Higginsville.
Higginsville.
And that'll be a test. I've seen their record. They look pretty good.
Yeah, very good. Well, Coach, you guys are relatively healthy right now at this point of the season?
everybody's gonna have bumps and bruises. We've got a freshman kid who hurt a knee a week ago. Luckily, nothing structurally. It's just a kind of a deep bruise. She won't be with us, and she's mainly a JV kid, but she does a great job of preparing us in practice. So we haven't had her. Had another freshman kid who was sick yesterday, but I saw her roaming the halls this morning. She seemed to be doing a lot better. So, your normal bumps and bruises, but as far as like sickness, this may be the healthiest we've been all year.
Well, outstanding. Coach, we certainly appreciate you being generous with your time here today on the Missouri Sports Network as you prepare for that sectional game with Lone Jack up at Lee Summit West. And best of luck, and you'll get a win, and we'll get you back on next week.
All right, that sounds great. Thanks for having me.
You bet. El Dorado Springs head girls basketball coach Beau Swopes right here at the Missouri Sports Network, where everyone has a home field advantage. Keep it right here.